Hello, my name is Christina C. Jones, and I am a romance author who specializes in stories that reflect the Black American experience. This is my YouTube channel where I talk often about the different projects that create the fabric of my vast landscape of a backlist or a catalog. This particular segment or series, if you will, that moving forward will be called Fully Developed, previously known as Baby Got Backlist. So we're deciding to switch it up a little bit. Fully Developed is a play on In Development, which is my reference document for my catalog. I'll put a link below if you are not familiar with that or you need to download it. I want to kick this series off by talking about books from my backlist that I feel are a little bit of unsung heroes, if you will. Books that I feel are very emblematic of my talent as an author and of the type of stories that really exemplify my catalog. One of those books being Inevitable Conclusions. Inevitable Conclusions is kind of a second chance, kind of a friends to lovers. It's got a lot of layers that if I had to boil it down to just one trope, it would be friends to lovers. I am going to read the synopsis to this book for you. Friends, lovers, both. For Cora and Tarek, those lines have been blurred for a long time. Every time clarity seems to be within reach, something shifts, and in a single moment, focus is lost. Once again, they're in limbo. Between them, there's only one secret, with the power to permanently alter their relationship. For good or bad, neither of them knows, nor are they willing to take that risk. Through the pain of past tragedies and the pressure of current dramas, they always find solace in each other's arms. Inescapably connected by the interminable bond of friendship, Tarek and Cora navigate family, life, and love, searching for separate answers to a problem that has only one unavoidable solution. So that makes it sound like really deep and really, and it is, somewhat. So this book introduces one of the most popular characters in my catalog, but she's not one of the main characters in this book. This is the book that introduces Nubia Perry. She is Cora's best friend. And she is, just a major presence in this book. But I think that I was able to make that happen without her overwhelming Cora and Tarek, who are really the center of this. So at the time that I started this, or at the time that I wrote this, I really wanted to do something that just felt very, very grown. Not that the rest of my catalog doesn't, but this, I wanted something to feel a little different. I've actually filmed a video about this book before, and in that video I talked about wanting Inevitable Conclusions to feel like everything that I had written before was practice for me to write this book. And upon reread, I do think that I accomplished that. Like it feels like me. It absolutely feels like me. It always feels like me. But I feel the difference just in the way the book opens, in the intimacy between Cora and Tarek, in the layers of family dynamics and the interpersonal relationships, the way that things are weaved together, the way that things are interspersed. I feel like you can feel the growth of me as a writer, and that's something that's always been very important to me. For as you go through my catalog, if you were to read it from beginning to end, for you to see those shifts, for you to see that evolution. Not even necessarily that you're going to like the book better, because maybe you don't actually like the characters and maybe you don't actually like the book, but you can see my growth. You can see the growth of my craft. Like, that's paramount to me, and I really feel like I was able to accomplish that with this book. So some of you may remember, if you were in my original Facebook group, you may remember me just starting this on a complete whim. I did not know it was going to go. I did not know what was going to happen with it. I wrote that first chapter where, Cora is walking down the hall and she gets to Tarek's apartment, and we don't know, the depth of what's going on between them. And after I wrote that was where I realized, like, okay, I have something here. And back to what I was saying about about how I wanted the book to feel, that was kind of my entry point to that feeling, because I knew that something different was happening here. Something different was going on with the level of steaminess, with the level of, like I said, just the depth of it. I wanted something totally different, and I feel like I was able to pull that off. This book will work very well for the reader who likes their romance very much adults, who is not necessarily looking for the warm and fuzzy, who is not looking for it to be neat and clean. This book really challenged me in terms of having the characters be flawed and really showed me that I could do that. This book really showed me that my readers were with it enough to want to see the messiness, to want to see those imperfections, to want to be frustrated by the characters and the things that they were doing, both to each other and to the people kind of on the outsides of the relationships, that how everything kind of factored into that relationship with each other. There's so many layers in this book, from their friendship to their romance to the other love relationships that happen in the book, the friendships, motherhood, family, found family, and just all these things that just kind of layer on top of each other to create this story. And I really feel like I do not see people talk about inevitable conclusions enough. Like, people are, I'm seeing people talk about it this week because it happens to be being shared and talked about specifically by me on my social media. But just in general, I feel like I do not see enough people talk about this book. And I know that it's part of it is because it's so far back in my backlist. This book came out in 2015, which is insane to me to say it. But that's what it is. It's pretty deep in my backlist. And I know I'm picking up new readers, every day. And so not everybody has made it there, or they've read other things by me that maybe they were more impressed by. But I really feel like Inevitable Conclusions was the mark of another shift for me in my career, in my craft. And I love this book. I love this book so much. I love this book. I love these characters. And going back to actually answering the question of the reader that the book will work for, this book will work for readers who love a good friends to lovers romance with some messiness, with some friends, with some family, and definitely with lots of steaminess. I'm actually going to read a little bit of it to you, just a teeny tiny bit, just a teeny tiny bit. And I chose my spot at random. I did choose the beginning of a chapter just so that we have, some structure to it, but I chose random chapter. Yeah, and I'm gonna read, let's say, I don't know. I'm gonna read so I feel like I'm doing too much. So maybe like 1 or 2 minutes or something like that. Okay, I'm reading from, this is chapter 7. It's not gonna, wait, there we go. Chapter 7, Tariq's point of view. She wasn't answering the door. My first thought was, damn, I guess she really is taking this avoid Tariq bullshit seriously. Eventually, I would call her on it. But in the meantime, I had just been giving her the space she obviously wanted. But not answering the door or her phone for me? No, this was something different. I shifted the bags in my hands to one side to pull out my keys. I maneuvered the one she'd given me into my hand and unlocked the door, closing and locking it behind me, then paused for a second. The relative silence was clue number 2 that something was really up. On the rare occasion I used my key to get into Cora's place while she was actually home, no matter the reason, she came from somewhere fussing at me about coming in unannounced. We both knew it wasn't actually a problem, but I let her fuss, then we argued, then we made up, which was most likely the purpose of the manufactured disagreement. Today, no curse out. I put my bags down in Cora's kitchen and left my shoes and jacket by her front door, then followed the low sound of music filtering through her apartment. It was the same soulful R&B playlist I'd heard countless times over the years, which she gradually updated with new artists and new music over time. If I thought about it hard enough, I could probably remember exactly when she added something to her mix. I helped her create the original damn near 20 years ago. We'd come a long way from making sure a blank tape was in the boombox so you were ready to record when your song came on the radio, but she still had a tendency to call and ask me, hey, have you heard this yet? About every new song before she added it. Cora always put that same playlist on when she was cleaning or working or, damn, you really are sick, aren't you? I muttered under my breath as I looked through her bedroom doorway. The bed was still made, but she was sprawled on top of it with her head buried in the pillows, and the Blakewood State University blanket I sent her as a gift almost 15 years ago spread on top of her. A smile came to my face before I could help it, and I quietly made my way to the bed. The day I got drafted to the Connecticut Kings, first round pick, Cora hadn't been able to make it because she had a show. The next day, there were pictures everywhere of her coming out for curtain call with this very blanket around her shoulders. We were honestly still just friends back then, and I know for a fact it wasn't her intention, but that was, to me, where the rumors about us got started. So, that's my sample. Oh. Every once in a while, I'll read something that I wrote, and I'll be like, man, I really do be writing these books, don't I? And do that. So I'm going to leave it on that note. If you have not read Inevitable Conclusions, the links to all the different formats where you can find it will be down below. And if you have already read Inevitable Conclusions, drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Cora and Tarek's love story. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support, and I'll holla. Bye.